Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I have swatches for you from the Up in Autumn collection from KB Shimmer for fall 2019. This collection goes on sale October 11th, so in the description box below I will link the KB Shimmer site, I will link their Instagram page, and I will link my Instagram page where you can see more swatches of everything from this collection. So I do have 12 new shades to look at today, and let's go ahead and get started. So first we have Close Minded, and this is described as a creamy pale tan base that sets off small and extra small glitters in blue, purple, copper, and brown. So here's our first coat of Close Minded. So this one is a little bit sheer here on this first coat. It does have more of a milky-like look to it than a stark white. Formula is good, smooth, not too thick, not too thin. Very easy to control, and these glitters come out pretty easily from the bottle. I didn't do any kind of fishing or swirling or holding my bottle upside down to get the amount of glitter out that I wanted. And I also didn't have to do any kind of manipulation to spread them out evenly across the nail. Where they lied, they lied. So it's building up well in 2 coats. I am going to show you what a third coat looks like today. I'm going to build up that glitter some more as well. This one is going to dry dull and textured because of the glitter that's in here, so you will want a glossy top coat to finish this off. Would highly recommend a glitter eating glossy top coat for this one. And removal is going to be a little bit of a process because this is glitter. You will want to do some scrubbing. You might want to do a peel off base coat instead. But if you don't use a peel off base coat, I would highly recommend using pure acetone when removing this one, just to make your life easier. So there is 3 coats. Up next we have All Fired Up, and this is described as a black to pale gray thermal polish with color shifting metallic flakes in hues of burning red to sizzling orange to warm yellow. This one also has a red to green shimmer in it. So here's our first coat of All Fired Up. So this one is a clear to black thermal. Obviously you're not going to be able to build the clear up, but I am going to go ahead and show you still what 3 coats looks like today. We are building up mostly those flakies in the clear state, and then for opacity in the cold state, which is the black state, 2 coats would probably get you there just fine, but I am always so weird with my thermals, and I like to add an extra coat just to be on the more cautious side. So this is building up well here in 2 coats, but again, I am going to show you that 3rd coat. Formula on this one is good. Again, not too thick or too thin, very easy to control. The flakes come out nice and easily, and they do lie evenly across the nail with minimal manipulation to get them to do so. The transition on this one is really easy as well. So here's our 3rd coat, and that is where I'm calling it. The warm state, or the cold state, the black is completely opaque. This one is going to dry fully matte. If you don't like that, you will want a glossy top coat to finish this off. I used a glossy top coat and then a matte top coat in my Instagram photos to show you what both ways look like. And this is going to dry with a slight bit of texture, but it won't be difficult to remove. So there is 3 coats. Up next we have Free Fallin, and this is described as a deep auburn base set off by an array of iridescent flakies that shift from red to orange to gold. Here's our first coat of Free Fallin. So this one is more of a jelly-like base, so it is a little bit on the sheer side, a little bit more translucent. You do get a great amount of flakies out. I think this one is really spot on with these flakies. Formula is good, very easy to control and to manipulate. Those flakes, they come out easily, they lie evenly, and then you can easily manipulate them across the nail to get them to go where you think they should go. So it's building up well in 2 coats, but I am going to show you a 3rd coat today. This is another one that's going to look really beautiful with a matte top coat if that's the style that you like as well. So here's our 3rd coat, and that does cover completely in 3 coats. This one is going to dry decently glossy and mostly smooth. You will want a top coat just to finish this one off, make everything look nice and cohesive, but nothing in this polish is going to be difficult to remove. So there's 3 coats. Up next we have Spice Things Up, and this is an orange with warm golden hue shifts. This one also has a rich coppery red tone. So here's Spice Things Up. So on 2 nails, I'm going to layer this one up on its own, and then on 2 nails, I'm just going to layer it over the KB Shimmer Black Cream. Formula on this is good. Again, not too thick or too thin, very easy to control. Here's that second coat, and that does, for the most part, cover completely in 2 coats, but I am going to show you what a 3rd coat looks like today. There are a couple brush strokes through this one when it's wet, and those do go away completely as it dries. So here it is over the black, and it does look a little bit shiftier over the black. You do have to be a little bit mindful of like how much you're putting on. You kind of want to go in for a thicker coat, that way it applies nice and evenly. This one is going to dry glossy on its own and without texture, so if you have to skip top coat, you could for this one. Nothing is going to dry textured or be difficult to remove, so there's 1 and 3 coats. Next up we have Having a Gourd Time, and this is described as a deep olive green, and it has a strong shimmer that shifts between a red to an orange to a gold to a green. Here's our first coat of Having a Gourd Time. So this one covers really well here on this first coat. Obviously not entirely opaque and not completely even, so I am going to build this one up in a second coat. Formula is, again, great, not too thick, not too thin, very easy to use, easy to control, smooth, buttery kind of application on this one. I didn't have any kind of staining with this one. I don't typically stain with greens, but if you do, this one might be a contender for staining, and I would recommend using a base coat. So this one is completely opaque in 2 coats. This one does dry satiny, so if you don't like that, you'll want a glossy top coat, and that'll also help the shimmer stand out to its full potential as well. So there's 2 coats. Up next we have Vested Interest, and this is described as a multi-chrome that goes between shades of green to teal to blue. This one also has hollow gold flakes and a touch of hollow. Here's our first coat of Vested Interest. So this one's a little sheer here on this first coat. It does build up nicely in 2 coats though. This is also one that you could layer over black for a different look. This is going to look more sheer on camera than it is in person, and it's also going to look very one-dimensional on camera. It's very shifty in person. It does go from all the way from the green that you're going to see to like a blue to a purple to almost a pink. So again, that is opaque in 2 coats for me. This one is going to dry almost completely matte and slightly textured, so you will want a top coat to finish this off. There's going to be a little bit of resistance with removal, but nothing that, say, a glitter would provide. So there is 2 coats. Next up we have If You've Got It, Haunt It, and this is described as a deepened navy polish that subtly shifts to shades of purple and black with a linear hollow accent. Here's 1 coat of If You've Got It, Haunt It. Now this is completely opaque in just 1 coat for me. This goes on very nice, very smooth, very easy to control. I didn't have any kind of staining with this one. Would highly recommend a base coat though for this, just to be on the more cautious side. This is going to dry dull, so you'll want a top coat to finish this off, but nothing's going to dry textured in this, and nothing is going to be difficult to remove in this, and I'm sorry if you can hear kids screaming and playing outside in the background. So there is 1 coat. Next up we have Trend Sweater, and this is described as a unique multi-chrome that starts out as a vibrant fuchsia shade. As angles and lights shift, hues of rose and lavender fall into an almost golden coppery pink. This one also has micro hollow flakes. Here's our first coat of Trend Sweater. So this one goes on nice and opaque here on this first coat. It's not completely opaque, so I am going to go in for a second coat, but again, we're working with a fantastic, easy to work with formula. KB Shimmer kind of knows just what they're doing, so I don't expect anything less than a great formula from this brand. So here's our second coat, and that does cover completely in 2 coats. This is going to dry dull, so you'll want a glossy top coat to finish this off, and it'll also help the hollow in here stand out to its full potential. This will also dry more hollow than when it's wet, but nothing's going to dry textured or be difficult to remove, so there's 2 coats. Up next we have Up in Autumn, and this is described as a warm, dusty cedar color cream. Here's our first coat of Up in Autumn. So now this one covers really well here on this first coat. It could potentially be a 1-coater for you if you do a little bit thicker of a coat, but I know this one does dry a little bit more sheer than when it's wet, so I am going to show you what 2 coats looks like today anyway. This one also has a good, easy to work with formula. So here's our second coat, and that does cover completely in 2 coats for me. This one's going to dry decently glossy on its own. You'll want a top coat just to keep your manicure lasting, but nothing's going to dry textured in this. So again, if you don't have time to throw on a top coat, you could wear this one out just fine. So there is 2 coats. Next up we have Raking It In, and this is described as a brightly colored iridescent flaky in a clear base. This one, the flakies shift from red to orange to gold to green, and this one does go to aqua at extreme angles. I'm going to layer this today over Up in Autumn, but I do have more swatch photos of this layered over black, and then I have some macros on my Instagram layered over a bunch of different fall shades. So here's 1 coat of Raking It In. You do get a good amount of these flakes out. I didn't do any fishing, swirling, trying to catch extra flakies with this one. I just took what came with the dip and applied it to my nail. It does take a little bit of manipulating to get it to spread out evenly, but it's not difficult whatsoever. It'll dry a little dull and nothing's going to be difficult to remove. Next up we have Happily Ever After, and this is a trithermal. This one starts out as this brown shade, and then it goes to a bright red color, and then to a Granny Smith apple green. This one also has hollow glitters. Here's our first coat of Happily Ever After. This one does cover decently well here on this first coat. It's not completely opaque, so I am going to go in for a second coat. This one has a very smooth, easy to work with formula. Again, no running or pulling or staining on this one. The transition on this one is also super easy. I was just a little chilly this day, so you'll be able to see it at the end, but it is completely opaque in 2 coats. I probably, wearing this one out, would do a 3rd coat just to make sure in the green state it does cover it completely. This one's going to dry fully matte. If you don't like that, you'll want a glossy top coat to finish this off, but nothing is going to dry textured or be difficult to remove. So here's a quick transition look, and there is 2 coats. And lastly for today we have Twist and Stout, and this one is described as a deepened brown linear hollow. And here's our first coat of Twist and Stout. So this one covers really well here on this first coat, almost opaque in 1 coat. I am going to show you what a second coat looks like today because I had a couple of low spots, but I do think after a few uses this one will be easily a 1-coater. This one does read more black hollow in my opinion than brown hollow though. So here's our second coat, and that does cover completely in 2 coats. This one is going to dry dull, so you'll want a top coat to finish this off. And it'll also help the hollow stand out if you use a top coat, but this one will also dry more hollow than when it's wet. So there is 2 coats. So I didn't limit myself to one favorite. I put aside the things that I truly loved, and I am going to share those with you right now. So the first one being Fallin. This is such a fun flaky glitter. I thoroughly love this. I currently have this on my toes. It is so fall, it is so fun, it has a good formula. You can use this as a topper if you so wish to, but I think it looks really gorgeous built up on its own, and it also looks really beautiful matte. My next favorite is having a Gourd time. I am all about an olive polish. That is not a secret at all. Another really good formula. I think the shimmer that's in here stands out so beautifully. It is so strong, and it has that, you know, it's green with the red shimmer, and it kind of also screams Christmas to me, so I really like it for that reason as well. Another one that kind of screams Christmas to me is Happily Ever After, because I mean it's brown in this state, which is straight up fall, but it's a trithermal, so it does transition to the red and then to the like brighter appley green. I think it's going to be really gorgeous again for the Christmas season, but as well as fall. So multi-purpose, and the hollow is just an added bonus for me. And then the last favorite I have for you today is Raking It In. This is such a beautiful topper. I wore this for a few days, layered over OPI's Mrs. O'Leary's barbecue, and it gave me such a fall manicure. So beautiful over everything I put it over. So I also really like Raking It In. And guys, that is it. Let me know in the comments below what you thought of this collection. Let me know if you plan on picking any of them up, and let me know what your favorite was. Give this video a thumbs up if you liked it. Subscribe if you'd like to see more from me, and I will talk to you again next time. Bye.